What if I told you that some of heavy metal's biggest names weren't just famous, they were downright hated? Behind the loud guitars and headbanging chaos, these artists sparked outrage, scandals, and full-blown feuds that split fans down the middle. Some were accused of crossing the line, others were blamed for taking metal too far, and a few simply refused to play by anyone's rules. Here are 30 heavy metal artists everyone loved to hate, and the real reasons why. 30. Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne was never just another frontman. He was chaos in human form. From biting a bat on stage to getting banned for outrageous stunts, he turned shock into an art. But that same madness made many people hate him. Critics called him a disgrace to music, while religious groups labeled him evil. Even within metal, some said his wild behavior overshadowed his real talent. Yet the so-called Prince of Darkness never cared. Ozzy thrived on the hate, transforming every scandal into fame. Love him or loathe him, his insanity helped shape heavy metal's untamed identity forever. 29. Ronnie Radke, falling in reverse. Ronnie Radke has been called everything from a musical genius to one of rock's most toxic figures. His career's been a roller coaster of hit songs, public feuds, and endless controversy. Jail time, fights with other artists, and viral meltdowns only added to the storm around his name. Fans either adore his raw emotion or can't stand his attitude. Through all the chaos, Ronnie kept doing what he does best, staying loud, fearless, and unapologetic. Whether he's praised or hated, he's impossible to ignore. That's the power of a man who feeds on both love and outrage. 28. Tim Lambesis, As I Lay Dying. Tim Lambesis shocked the entire metal world when he was arrested for hiring a hitman to kill his wife. Once known for leading a Christian metal band, he suddenly became the face of betrayal and hypocrisy. Fans abandoned him, fellow musicians condemned him, and his name became poison in the scene. Even after his release and attempts to rebuild his career, many couldn't look past what he'd done. Yet somehow, his band returned to touring and recording again. Tim's downfall remains one of metal's darkest chapters, a chilling reminder that evil can hide behind a holy image. 27. Kid Rock. Kid Rock's story is a mix of fame, rebellion, and self-destruction. He started as a rap metal sensation, blending styles that made him stand out. But as the years passed, his music took a backseat to his loud political opinions and public rants. What once felt rebellious began to feel exhausting. Many fans who once cheered for his attitude turned away, tired of the noise. Still, Kid Rock never changed for anyone. He proudly stood by his beliefs, even as the world around him booed. In true rock fashion, he proved that being hated can sometimes be its own kind of fame. 26. The Melvins. The Melvins never followed trends. That's exactly why so many people didn't know what to make of them. Their music was heavy, slow, and experimental, often confusing fans who expected something easier to digest. Some called them geniuses, others called them unlistenable. But the band didn't care. Their unpredictable sound inspired grunge icons like Nirvana and still influenced countless musicians. Even with decades of mixed opinions, the Melvins stayed proudly weird, proving that real artists don't chase approval. They simply make noise that matters, even if the world hates them for it. 25. Fear Factory. Fear Factory changed the game with their blend of industrial sounds and brutal metal riffs. But over time, that same mechanical precision became their biggest criticism. Fans began calling their music repetitive, too polished, too robotic, like machines had replaced emotion. Band drama and constant lineup changes only made things worse. Still, Fear Factory never backed down from their futuristic style. They built a sound that inspired a generation, even as purists turned their backs. Whether loved or loathed, their vision of mixing man and machine remains one of metal's most daring experiments ever recorded. 24. Mastodon. Mastodon earned respect for their technical skill, but respect doesn't always equal love. Their complex songs and ever-changing sound left some fans behind, unsure what direction they were heading. Critics adored them, yet many old-school metalheads felt they'd become too artsy, too distant from their original fire. Instead of chasing popularity, Mastodon leaned into their creativity, crafting albums that sounded more like journeys than songs. That boldness divided listeners completely. But whether they're called geniuses or sellouts, Mastodon proved one thing: sometimes being misunderstood is the price of true innovation. 23. DragonForce. DragonForce burst into fame with lightning-fast solos and impossible guitar speed. For a while, they were heroes of the gaming world, thanks to Through the Fire and Flames. But the same over-the-top energy that made them famous also made many metal fans roll their eyes. Critics called them cartoonish and soulless, saying their music felt more like a video game than real emotion. Yet, behind all the flash, DragonForce's talent is undeniable. They brought fun, fantasy, and crazy skill back to metal, even if the purists never forgave them for making heavy music sound like pure adventure. 22. Lamb of God. Lamb of God defined modern metal with razor-sharp riffs and unrelenting power. But as they grew bigger, critics accused them of becoming too clean, too mainstream, and losing that underground edge. Some fans said their newer albums felt more produced than passionate. Still, Randy Blythe's raw voice and the band's tight energy kept them standing tall among the noise. Even when controversy struck, including Blythe's arrest overseas, they came back stronger. Lamb of God proved that. Hate and praise can exist side by side when your music hits hard enough to shake an entire generation. 21. Machine Head once carried the torch for groove metal, but success brought judgment. Some fans adored their heavy, emotional records, while others slammed them for political lyrics and evolving too far from their roots. Accusations of overproduction and inconsistency haunted them through the years. Yet Rob Flynn kept pushing forward, never afraid to reinvent the band's sound. Machine Head's willingness to experiment earned both hate and admiration, sometimes in the same breath. They became a symbol of modern metal's struggle between artistic growth and staying true to the old-school ways fans refused to let die. 20. Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson was born to shock, and for years he wore that reputation like armor. His wild image, dark lyrics, and on-stage chaos made him a symbol of rebellion, but also a lightning rod for hate. Parents blamed him for corrupting youth, politicians targeted him, and even fellow musicians called him fake. Then came the scandals that nearly destroyed him completely. Once the poster child of artistic freedom, Manson became a reminder of fame's darkest side. No matter how loud the outrage grew, his name stayed unforgettable, proof that controversy and fame often walk the same path. 19. Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie Malmsteen's guitar skills were undeniable, a true virtuoso who made strings scream with speed and precision. But behind the talent came stories of ego and arrogance that pushed people away. He demanded perfection, insulted others openly, and built a reputation as one of the most difficult musicians to work with. Fans respected his mastery, but couldn't stand his attitude. Still, Yngwie never cared about popularity. He believed he was born for greatness, and his confidence, however extreme, became his brand. Even today, his name stands for both brilliance and the kind of pride that divides the music world. 18. Varg Vikernes, Burzum. Varg Vikernes might be the most controversial figure in all of metal. His story is drenched in crime, fire, and hate. After burning churches and murdering a fellow musician, he spent years in prison. Yet somehow, his influence on black metal only grew. Fans were torn between fascination and disgust. Some hailed him as a visionary. Others wanted his name erased completely. Even after his release, Varg's extremist views and online rants fueled more outrage. Few artists have ever inspired such a toxic mix of admiration and horror. In metal history, his name remains forever stained in darkness. 17. Phil Anselmo, Pantera. Phil Anselmo's voice helped shape Pantera's dominance in the 90s, but his temper and controversial behavior kept dragging him into trouble. From public fights and drug battles to racist remarks that ruined his reputation, he turned from idol to outcast in the eyes of many. Yet his stage presence and raw power couldn't be denied. Fans loved the energy, but hated the chaos that came with it. Despite everything, Phil remains one of metal's most intense frontmen, a man whose fire burned too bright for his own good, leaving a trail of both glory and destruction behind him. 16. Gene Simmons, Kiss. Gene Simmons built an empire out of rock, money, and attitude. As Kiss soared to fame, so did his reputation for greed and arrogance. Fans accused him of caring more about profits than passion, and his blunt opinions often rubbed people the wrong way. But that same business mindset made Kiss one of the biggest rock brands ever. While many call him a sellout, others see him as a genius who turned fame into fortune. Love him or hate him, Gene Simmons turned controversy into a career and showed that in music, success sometimes demands being the villain. 15. Dave Mustaine, Megadeth. Dave Mustaine's story is one of talent, temper, and endless grudges. After being kicked out of Metallica, he turned his anger into fuel and built Megadeth from pure rage. But that bitterness followed him for decades. His outspoken attitude and constant feuds made him one of the most polarizing figures in metal. Some call him a genius for turning pain into power. Others say his ego holds him back. Whether ranting about rivals or politics, Mustaine always speaks his mind. And that's exactly why people either respect him deeply or can't stand him at all. 14. Slayer. Slayer defined the sound of pure aggression. Fast, loud, and terrifying. But even legends aren't safe from hate. Some fans say they never evolved, while others think they went soft in their later years. Accusations of repeating the same formula haunted this, and their extreme themes kept critics on edge. Still, Slayer's influence is carved deep into metal history. Their music fueled rebellion for decades, and even those who despise them can't ignore their impact. They may have divided fans, but they also proved that sometimes staying brutal forever is what makes you unforgettable. 13. In Flames. In Flames helped shape melodic death metal, blending beauty and brutality like no one else. But when they shifted to a softer, radio-friendly sound, longtime fans felt betrayed. The band that once roared with rage began singing about feelings, and metal purists couldn't handle it. Forums exploded, critics turned harsh, and fans accused them of selling out. Still, In Flames stood by their evolution, saying growth was part of survival. Love them or hate them, they taught the scene that changing your sound might cost followers, but standing still can kill your art even faster. 12. Trivium. When Trivium burst onto the scene, everyone called them the next Metallica. But that kind of pressure turns love into hate fast. Some fans saw them as too polished, too ambitious, or just too confident for their age. Every new album sparked debate about whether they were innovators or imitators. Yet, through all the noise, Trivium kept proving themselves on stage with unmatched skill and energy. The hate never stopped, but neither did the passion. They're a band that learned early. In metal, being hated just means you're big enough to matter. 11. Deafheaven. Deafheaven broke every rule of black metal by mixing beauty with brutality. Their shimmering guitars and dreamy melodies angered traditionalists who believed metal should never sound soft or elegant. Some fans called them frauds, others hailed them as visionaries. That split became their signature, a band too heavy for indie crowds and too emotional for purists. Yet Deafheaven didn't care about categories. They built their own lane, one that blurred the line between rage and grace. Hated by old-school fans but praised by critics, they proved that metal's future doesn't always have to scream to stay loud. 10. Babymetal. When Babymetal exploded onto the scene, nobody knew what to think. 3 young girls mixing J-pop with heavy metal. It sounded like madness, and that's exactly why people couldn't stop talking. Purists called them fake, an insult to everything metal stood for. But their explosive performances, flawless choreography, and roaring live shows proved otherwise. Babymetal turned hate into global fame, winning over even some of their loudest critics. They became a reminder that metal doesn't have to look or sound one way. It just has to hit hard. And Babymetal did that better than anyone expected. 9. Bring Me the Horizon. Bring Me the Horizon started as wild metalcore kids screaming their lungs out. But as the years went by, their sound shifted. Softer, more electronic, more emotional. That's when the hate started pouring in. Old fans accused them of selling out, abandoning the heavy roots that made them famous. Yet the band didn't back down. They evolved, experimented, and gained millions of new listeners in return. Their transformation divided fans completely, but it also proved one thing: true artists don't stay trapped in the past. Bring Me the Horizon grew up, and they didn't ask for permission. 8. Avenged Sevenfold. Avenged Sevenfold has always walked the line between love and hate. Their flashy style, soaring vocals, and mix of classic metal with modern flair made them stand out. And that's exactly what made purists angry. Some say they're too dramatic, too mainstream, or just trying too hard to be legends. But behind the criticism lies undeniable skill. Every album feels like a movie, bold, emotional, and full of ambition. They've been mocked, praised, and copied, yet never ignored. Avenged. Sevenfold didn't just play metal. They made it larger than life, no matter who hated them for it. 7. Five Finger Death Punch. Five Finger Death Punch built their empire on heavy riffs, military pride, and no-nonsense aggression, and somehow that made them one of the most hated bands in modern metal. Fans accuse them of being predictable, repetitive, and designed for the radio. Critics call them the Nickelback of metal. Yet their shows sell out, their fans scream every lyric, and their confidence never wavers. They know exactly who they are, unapologetic and loud. For every person who can't stand them, there's another who finds strength in their songs. And that's what keeps FFDP punching back harder every time. 6. Slipknot. Slipknot's masked chaos redefined metal for a new generation. Their explosive energy and eerie image made them icons, but also targets for hate. Some purists said they were too theatrical, too mainstream, or just mall metal. Others saw them as the heartbeat of modern aggression. Between on-stage riots, feuds, and constant member changes, Slipknot became one of the most polarizing bands in the world. But love or hate them, their sound left a scar on the genre. Slipknot proved that real power comes from daring to be different, even if the whole world screams against you. 5. Korn changed heavy music forever, but their fame came with a wave of hate. They built the new metal movement, blending pain, groove, and emotion like no one before them. Yet as their sound evolved, many fans turned their backs, claiming they'd gone soft or lost their edge. Critics mocked them for experimenting too much, while others blamed them for inspiring an entire wave of copycats. Through every insult and backlash, Korn kept pushing forward, raw and unapologetic. Their darkness spoke for millions, even if the world couldn't decide whether to praise or despise them. 4. Limp Bizkit. No band defines love and hate in equal measure like Limp Bizkit. Fred Durst became the face of early 2000s rebellion, loud, brash, and impossible to ignore. But fame quickly twisted into mockery. Critics said they ruined nu metal, fans accused them of being fake, and their cocky attitude made them easy targets. Yet their hits filled arenas, and their wild shows became unforgettable chaos. Limp Bizkit may never win over the critics, but they never needed approval to stay relevant. Hated or not, they turned every sneer into fuel for the fire that kept them on top. 3. Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses. Axl Rose had one of rock's greatest voices, and one of its worst reputations. His temper, endless feuds, and habit of showing up late drove fans insane. He fought with his bandmates, cursed out audiences, and seemed to thrive on chaos. Yet when he stepped to the mic, everything stopped. His power and emotion were undeniable, even to those who despised him. The man who nearly destroyed his own band also created some of the greatest songs in rock history. Axl Rose wasn't just hated. He was magnetic, unpredictable, and too iconic to ever fade away. 2. Metallica, Modern Era. Metallica's transformation from underground thrash kings to global rock superstars made them one of the most polarizing bands ever. Their early fans accused them of selling out, calling load and reload betrayals of their heavy roots. The infamous Saint Anger album only fueled the fire. Suddenly, the gods of metal were being mocked for chasing radio play. Yet, despite decades of criticism, Metallica kept selling out stadiums, proving that hate couldn't stop them. They became too big to break, a living reminder that every legend eventually becomes the villain in the eyes of their own fans. 1. Lars Ulrich, Metallica. When heavy metal fans talk about hate, one name always leads the list: Lars Ulrich. His battle against Napster in the early 2000s made him the villain of the digital age. What he saw as protecting artists' rights, fans saw as greed and betrayal. The backlash was massive, painting him as the man who tried to kill free music. People mocked his drumming, doubted his talent, and never let him forget it. Yet behind the controversy stands a man who helped shape metal's biggest band. Hated or not, Lars Ulrich changed the music world forever. So after hearing these wild stories, one thing's clear: being a heavy metal star isn't just about music. It's about surviving the chaos that comes with fame, attitude, and rebellion. Some of these artists were misunderstood, others went too far, but all of them left their mark in ways no one can forget. Which of these controversial metal legends do you think got judged too harshly? Drop your thoughts below, and if you love uncovering the dark and untold sides of heavy metal, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because the next story might just blow your mind. 25. Lars Ulrich, Metallica. Lars Ulrich is one of metal's most polarizing figures. While Metallica's music made history, Lars gained infamy for leading the battle against Napster in the early 2000s, angering millions of fans who saw him as greedy and out of touch. Beyond the lawsuit, many dislike his drumming style, mocking it as simplistic compared to other metal legends. His outspoken personality, endless interviews, and tendency to stir up drama have kept him under constant fire, making him one of the most criticized drummers in metal history. 24. Dave Mustaine, Megadeth. Dave Mustaine's story is legendary. Kicked out of Metallica, he went on to build Megadeth into a thrash metal powerhouse. Yet, his ego and constant feuds with other artists earned him a reputation as difficult and arrogant. Known for controversial comments, political rants, and public clashes with former bandmates, Mustaine often overshadowed his own brilliance with his attitude. Fans respect his talent, but his sharp tongue, stubborn nature, and self-destructive behavior cemented him as one of the most disliked personalities in heavy metal. 23. Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses. Axl Rose, frontman of Guns N' Roses, became both an icon and a villain in rock history. His explosive temper, infamous lateness to shows, and countless fights with band members and industry figures fueled his reputation. Fans were often left waiting hours for concerts, only to witness chaotic performances. Behind the scenes, his controlling nature fractured the band at its peak. Despite his undeniable vocal power and influence, his erratic behavior and massive ego made him one of rock and metal's most hated figures. 22. Vince Neil Mötley Crüe. Vince Neil, the voice of Mötley Crüe, drew heavy criticism for reckless living. His involvement in a fatal DUI crash that killed Hanoi Rocks drummer Razzle forever tarnished his image. Over the years, fans accused him of uneven live performances, often slurring lyrics or appearing unprepared. Beyond music, his string of arrests, lawsuits, and questionable behavior kept him in the headlines. While his voice defined a generation of glam metal, his wild and destructive personal life made him one of the most controversial frontmen. 21. Kerry King, Slayer. Kerry King, guitarist of Slayer, is known as much for his sharp riffs as for his sharper tongue. He built a reputation for trashing other bands, dismissing their music, and creating unnecessary feuds within the metal community. His unapologetic and abrasive personality rubbed many the wrong way, especially when he publicly criticized even successful peers. While Slayer fans celebrate his contribution to thrash, his constant negativity and cold demeanor turned him into a polarizing figure who earned just as much hate as respect. 20. Tommy Lee, Mötley Crüe. Tommy Lee was once praised for his flashy drumming, but over time, his scandals overshadowed his musicianship. From endless tabloid drama to leaked tapes and volatile relationships, he became more of a celebrity spectacle than a respected metal drummer. While fans loved his wild lifestyle in the 80s, many grew tired of his attention-seeking antics. His constant need for the spotlight, reality TV appearances, and outrageous behavior made him one of the most criticized figures, proving that controversy followed him more than his music did. 19. Phil Anselmo, Pantera. Phil Anselmo was once considered one of metal's greatest frontmen, but his legacy is darkened by his controversial actions. Known for violent outbursts and offensive remarks, he alienated fans and tarnished Pantera's reputation. His infamous white power gesture on stage in 2016 sparked global outrage, damaging his career further. Combined with years of substance abuse, unpredictable behavior, and broken relationships with bandmates, Anselmo became one of metal's most disliked figures. Despite his talent, his self-destructive choices overshadowed his impact on the genre. 18. Gene Simmons, Kiss. Gene Simmons has made as many headlines for his mouth as for his music. Known for bragging about money, fame, and conquests, Simmons has often been accused of greed and arrogance. His endless merchandising of Kiss, from lunchboxes to coffins, turned many fans off, who saw him as exploiting the band's image. Beyond money, his blunt and often offensive comments about women, musicians, and society created backlash. While Kiss remains legendary, Simmons' reputation for egotism and shameless money-grabbing has earned him plenty of hate. 17. Paul Stanley, Kiss. Paul Stanley, co-leader of Kiss, isn't immune to criticism either. Though a talented frontman, he's frequently accused of creating toxic feuds with former members like Ace Frehley and Peter Criss. His tendency to rewrite band history in interviews has frustrated longtime fans. Many also criticize him for over-commercializing Kiss, turning the band into more of a brand than a group of musicians. While he remains the face of glam rock excess, his controlling nature and inflated ego have made him a polarizing figure. 16. Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie Malmsteen is often hailed as one of the fastest guitar players alive, yet his reputation off stage has been far less flattering. Infamous for his arrogance and diva-like behavior, he's been accused of belittling bandmates and demanding total control. His explosive temper was even caught on tape in the infamous "You've Unleashed the Fury" airplane incident. While his neoclassical shredding inspired generations, his lack of humility and constant ego clashes turned many fans and fellow musicians against him, earning him notoriety beyond his skill. 15. Ronnie Radke. Ronnie Radke's career has been surrounded by controversy from the beginning. From serving time in prison for his involvement in a fight that led to a death to countless public feuds, his reputation is messy. Even after forming Falling in Reverse, Radke's antics, ranging from violent outbursts to social media meltdowns, kept him in the headlines. While younger fans embrace his rebellious image, many critics dismiss him as toxic and unprofessional. His troubled past and constant drama made him one of the most polarizing artists. 14. Fred Durst, Limp Bizkit. Fred Durst, the face of Limp Bizkit, became one of the most mocked figures in nu metal. Known for his cocky demeanor and constant feuds, he quickly became the poster boy for everything critics hated about the genre. His role in the infamous Woodstock '99 chaos, where Limp Bizkit set fueled destruction and violence, cemented his negative reputation. Despite commercial success, many fans saw him as immature and arrogant. Even today, Durst's name often sparks ridicule, making him one of metal's most disliked frontmen. 13. Kid Rock. Kid Rock's career started with rap rock and metal influences, but his later shift into politics and controversial rants turned many fans away. Once celebrated for his rowdy energy, he became infamous for offensive outbursts, polarizing political statements, and disrespectful behavior. While some still defend his rebellious image, others see him as a sellout who abandoned music for attention. His transition from party rocker to political provocateur cemented his spot on this list, as his personality and public image became more hated than his music. 12. Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson built his career on shock value, pushing boundaries with grotesque performances and outrageous antics. While fans embraced his theatrical style, critics and parents saw him as dangerous, even blaming him for influencing violence. In recent years, allegations of abuse and misconduct surfaced, darkening his image further. Once seen as an edgy anti-hero, he's now viewed by many as deeply problematic. The combination of his shocking stage persona and disturbing personal scandals made him one of the most controversial names in heavy music. 11. Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent is often remembered less for his guitar playing and more for his outspoken politics. His extreme right-wing views, inflammatory comments, and offensive remarks about women and minorities created waves of backlash. He frequently used interviews and concerts as platforms for political rants, alienating fans who once admired his music. While he proudly embraces the role of provocateur, many see him as hateful and divisive. His aggressive persona, combined with his outspoken nature, made him one of the most despised figures in rock and metal. 10. Varg Vikernes. Varg Vikernes is infamous in black metal history for reasons far beyond music. Convicted of murdering fellow musician Euronymous and burning down churches in Norway, he became a symbol of the darkest side of the genre. After his release, his extremist political and racial views only fueled more hatred. While some consider his music influential, his crimes and ideology overshadow everything. He remains one of the most hated figures, not just in metal, but in all of music history, remembered for violence and destruction. 9. Gal Gorgoroth. Gal, frontman of Norwegian black metal band Gorgoroth, cultivated a reputation for terror. Known for his unsettling stage presence, extreme views, and violent past, Gal became one of the most controversial figures in extreme metal. His involvement in shocking stage performances, including animal heads on spikes, created outrage across the world. Offstage, his conviction for violent assault added to his infamy. While some fans respect his dedication to black metal's raw roots, his disturbing image and history made him one of the genre's most despised icons. 8. Tim Lambesis, As I Lay Dying. Tim Lambesis shocked the metal world when he was arrested for attempting to hire a hitman to murder his wife. Once the respected frontman of As I Lay Dying, his actions destroyed the band's reputation and horrified fans. After serving prison time, he attempted a comeback, but his past continues to haunt him. Though his band regained some followers, many still refuse to support him. His fall from respected metalcore leader to disgraced criminal made him one of the most hated artists in metal. 7. Ian Watkins, Lost Prophets. Ian Watkins' downfall is one of the darkest stories in rock history. As the frontman of Lost Prophets, he rose to fame with a devoted fan base, only for it all to collapse when his horrific crimes against children came to light. Convicted and sentenced to prison, he became universally despised. Unlike others on this list, Watkins's reputation is beyond repair, with even his own fans disowning him. His story stands as one of the most shocking betrayals in music, leaving behind only disgust and condemnation. 6. Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails. Though highly respected in industrial music, Trent Reznor is often disliked by traditional metal fans who dismiss Nine Inch Nails as not real metal. His experimental style challenged the genre, but many purists accused him of diluting heavy music with electronic influences. Beyond that, his abrasive personality and controversial statements sometimes added fuel to the fire. While his influence is undeniable, his polarizing presence and the constant debate over his place in metal history made him one of the genre's most divisive figures. 5. Jonathan Davis, Korn. Jonathan Davis and Korn helped launch nu metal into the mainstream, but the genre quickly became one of the most ridiculed in metal history. Davis's unique vocal style and emotional lyrics connected with millions, yet critics accused Korn of watering down heavy music. Metal elitists often singled him out as the face of everything wrong with nu metal. While fans adore him, his association with a genre many love to hate made him a controversial figure. His name still divides opinions across the heavy metal world. 4. Corey Taylor, Slipknot. H.T. Stone Sour. Corey Taylor is both admired and despised within heavy metal circles. His powerful vocals and leadership in Slipknot earned global respect, yet his habit of sharing strong opinions on nearly every topic rubbed many the wrong way. From feuds with other bands to endless media appearances, some see him as arrogant and attention-seeking. While millions love him as the voice of a generation, critics view him as overexposed. His tendency to insert himself into every discussion made him one of the most polarizing frontmen. 3. Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath. Ozzy Osbourne is undeniably the Prince of Darkness, but his later image divided fans. Once a dangerous and unpredictable frontman, he became a reality TV star portrayed as a bumbling family man. Some longtime fans hated this transformation, believing it ruined his mystique. Add to that his infamous substance abuse, bizarre stage antics, and chaotic personal life, and he remained a lightning rod for criticism. While he'll always be a legend, Ozzy's unpredictable evolution made him one of the most controversial figures in metal history. 2. Sharon Osbourne. Though not a musician, Sharon Osbourne has had an enormous influence on metal through her management and role in Ozzfest. Yet, her ruthless business tactics, feuds with artists, and manipulative reputation made her widely despised. Many accused her of exploiting Ozzy's name for profit while tearing down other bands. Her public feuds, particularly with Iron Maiden and others, solidified her image as controlling and vindictive. While powerful, her reputation in the metal world is overwhelmingly negative, making her one of its most hated figures. 1. Sebastian Bach, Skid Row. Sebastian Bach, once the golden-haired frontman of Skid Row, built a career on his voice and ego. Known for explosive fights with bandmates, feuds with other artists, and a reputation for being nearly impossible to work with, he earned as much hate as admiration. Even as Skid Row's popularity faded, Bach remained a controversial figure due to his fiery personality and constant clashes. His raw talent was undeniable, but his arrogance and combative nature ensured his place as one of heavy metal's most hated artists. These 25 names left scars on the scene that fans will never forget, whether through arrogance, betrayal, or complete self-destruction. But here's the real question: do you think they truly deserved the hate, or were some of them just victims of the spotlight? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's settle this once and for all. And if you love diving into the wildest, most untold stories in heavy metal, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss what's coming next. 20. Dave Mustaine, Megadeth. Dave Mustaine is a guitar legend, the mastermind behind Megadeth, and one of the founding members of Metallica. But his story is just as much about feuds as it is about riffs. After being kicked out of Metallica in the early days, Mustaine carried a decades-long grudge, often lashing out publicly against his former bandmates. His interviews are filled with bitter remarks, fueled by anger and insecurity. Within Megadeth, he became notorious for firing members at the slightest disagreement, creating an unstable lineup that went through dozens of musicians. Fans also remember his public meltdowns, whether it was storming off stage mid-show or insulting entire crowds. Mustaine's genius on the guitar is unquestionable, but his inability to let go of grudges and his combative personality earned him a reputation as one of metal's biggest jerks. 19. Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses. If there's one name that screams rock star ego, it's Axl Rose. The Guns N' Roses frontman is legendary for his voice, but equally infamous for his temper. Fans grew used to waiting hours because Axl showed up late, or sometimes not at all. Concerts ended in chaos when he stormed off stage, sometimes after attacking fans who dared to take pictures or throw objects. His feuds weren't limited to the audience. Axl's war with his own bandmates tore Guns N' Roses apart at the height of their fame. Reporters, critics, and even fellow rockers all got a taste of his fury. With his explosive temper and diva behavior, Axl turned what could have been one of the greatest bands in history into a powder keg of drama. 18. Glenn Danzig Misfits. Glenn Danzig helped shape horror punk and metal with his bands Misfits and Danzig, but his larger-than-life ego turned many fans against him. He's infamous for arrogance, demanding respect while treating others with contempt. On stage and off, he clashed with musicians who worked with him, often belittling them publicly. Fans recall him refusing autographs or showing open disdain toward the very people who supported his career. Perhaps the most infamous moment came when he got knocked out backstage after trying to intimidate another musician, a video that went viral and turned him into a cautionary tale of what happens when arrogance meets reality. Danzig may have created iconic songs, but his behavior toward others made him one of the most disliked figures in the heavy metal community. 17. Varg Vikernes Burzum. When it comes to infamy, few metal musicians rival Varg Vikernes. The one-man project behind Burzum, Varg, is remembered less for his music and more for his crimes. In the early 1990s, he became infamous for burning down several churches in Norway, acts that shocked the world. Even worse, he murdered fellow musician Euronymous of Mayhem, a crime that led to his long prison sentence. Beyond the violence, Varg's racist and extremist views made him one of the most toxic figures in black metal history. While some still praise his atmospheric music, his actions cast a shadow over the entire scene, forever linking black metal with criminality and hatred. In the world of heavy metal jerks, Varg isn't just a loudmouth, he's a convicted killer who made infamy his brand. 16. Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent isn't exactly pure heavy metal, but his impact on the scene and his endless controversies make him impossible to ignore. Known as the Motor City Madman, Nugent built a reputation on over-the-top antics, but his real downfall came from his mouth. He became infamous for offensive rants, aggressive political speeches, and a level of arrogance that alienated entire audiences. Even among musicians, his ego was legendary, constantly bragging about his hunting skills and lifestyle while belittling anyone who disagreed. While his guitar playing earned him fans in the 70s and 80s, today Nugent is remembered more as a loudmouth who insulted his own audience than as a musician. In the world of metal-adjacent figures, few have a jerk reputation as strong as Ted Nugent's. 15. Kerry King. Slayer. Slayer guitarist Kerry King is known for his aggressive riffs, but his personality outside of the music isn't so celebrated. He has a long history of publicly trashing other bands, dismissing their music, and mocking their fans. His sharp tongue made him notorious in the metal press, where he never hesitated to insult peers, whether it was questioning their authenticity or outright calling them garbage. Bandmates and collaborators often described him as distant and unfriendly, caring little for relationships outside of his tight Slayer circle. While his contributions to thrash metal are monumental, Kerry's reputation for being abrasive and unfriendly to almost everyone else secured his place on the jerk list. 14. Sebastian Bach. Skid Row. In the late 80s and early 90s, Sebastian Bach was one of the most exciting frontmen in metal, but behind the soaring vocals and flowing hair was a personality that often crossed the line. Bach became infamous for brawls with fans, sometimes attacking people mid-concert. His arrogance and constant clashes with his own bandmates eventually led to his exit from Skid Row. In interviews, he came across as self-obsessed, more concerned with his image than his music. Over the years, stories piled up of his drunken antics, ego-driven fights, and inability to get along with others. Fans who once adored him began to see him as more trouble than he was worth. His voice remains iconic, but his reputation for arrogance ensures he'll always be remembered as one of rock's biggest jerks. 13. Gene Simmons. Kiss. When people think of rock egos, Gene Simmons often tops the list. The Kiss bassist turned his band into a merchandising empire, but his greed and arrogance left many fans cold. Simmons has made countless offensive remarks in interviews, often insulting women, other musicians, or entire fan bases. His unapologetic focus on money over music made him a symbol of rock star excess. Within Kiss, His dominating personality created constant tension, as he often acted like the band was his personal business. Fans loved to hate him, pointing to his endless self-promotion as proof that his ego is bigger than his talent. Gene may have built one of the most recognizable brands in rock, but he did it while stepping on just about everyone else along the way. 12. Phil Anselmo, Pantera. Phil Anselmo is one of the most powerful frontmen in metal history, but his personal behavior often overshadows his music. During Pantera's peak, Anselmo developed a reputation for drunken meltdowns, fights, and offensive rants. His most infamous moment came when he made racist gestures on stage, sparking outrage and permanently damaging his reputation. Bandmates struggled to deal with his volatility, with constant tension boiling over behind the scenes. Fans loved his voice and presence, but they couldn't ignore his toxic behavior. Even today, Anselmo remains a controversial figure, with many seeing him as a symbol of wasted talent mixed with self-destructive arrogance. 11. Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie Malmsteen is a guitar virtuoso whose technical skills influenced countless players, but his ego is almost as famous as his playing. Known for his diva-like personality, Malmsteen was once caught on tape screaming, "You've unleashed the F***ing fury," at an airline attendant, a moment that perfectly summed up his temper. Bandmates and collaborators often describe him as controlling and impossible to work with, as he demands perfection while offering little respect in return. His arrogance turned off many fans, who saw him as a genius consumed by his own self-importance. While his guitar playing will always be admired, Malmsteen's reputation as one of the biggest egomaniacs in rock history isn't going away anytime soon. 10. Blackie Lawless.